How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your hearts, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the top of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to the realm of the dead, to the depths of the pit. Those who see you stare at you. They ponder your fate. Is this the man who shook the earth and made kingdoms tremble? The man who made the world a wilderness, who overthrew its cities and will not let his captives go home. All the kings of the nations lie in state, each in his own tomb. But you are cast out of your tomb like a rejected branch. You are covered with slain, with those pierced by the sword, those who descend to the stone of the pit, like a corpse tramples under feet. You will not join them in burial, for you have destroyed your land and killed your people. Let the offspring of the wicked never be mentioned again. Greeting, guys. It is me here with a message of the kingdom of heaven. Guys. Yo, guys, I look at this and if you are not mad, guys, if you are not mad, I give up on you. Believe me, guys, if you're not mad, I give up on you. Here, guys, Isaiah is just giving it, guys, like it is. He's telling us about Satan, about that dude sitting in second heaven with his cohorts and gangsters. Guys, I hardly quote from the old covenant. We all know that it came from Daddy and Jesus, but because when you quote from both covenants, people tend to be confused. As you see, guys, the beast capitalized on that. The beast, guys, sort of like looked at people choosing, oh, I like this from the old, I like this from the new, I pick this from the old, I pick this from the new. And because of that, people decided to ignore what Jesus is saying about the new being. People decided to ignore what Jesus is saying about the new covenant. People decided to ignore Jesus's word. As we know, guys, that in time past, Daddy spoke to the Israelites or those who were in the covenant through the prophets. At that time, they were still alive. But in these times, he speaks to us through the Son, Jesus. You understand? So whenever you find something that is contrary to what Jesus is saying, you don't take that, but you take what the new covenant says. You understand? But because some people don't understand that, they think that they can just pick and choose. Oh, I'm picking that, they will go to Deuteronomy 28 and tell you that we are blessed coming in, we are blessed going out. That is why the message of blessings of the things of the world have just, gone out to the ends of the earth like this, as if it's Jesus. They are not checking what Jesus says about earthly blessings to the spiritually alive person. They are not, guys, they don't care what Jesus says about earthly blessings to those who belong to the kingdom of heaven. Because he tells us, do not love the world or the things of the world. For if you do, the love of the Father is not in you. For these things don't come from the Father, but from the world. So they ignore that and go to Deuteronomy 28 and says, we are blessed going in, blessed going out. As it is, people are spiritually dead because of picking and choosing, without realizing that now you are picking that which belongs to a dead person, which belongs to the one who was of the covenant of old. I don't know, guys, if what I'm saying makes sense. Nevertheless, guys, I've spoken so much about this, so I hardly quote from the old covenant. Because of that, I don't want to confuse you. But you see, if ever you're going to quote from the old covenant, make sure that whatever you quote is not against the new covenant. Because, guys, a spiritually alive person is not the same as the one who is spiritually dead. I've just mentioned an example. You understand? So, for instance, also Jesus said, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, kick for kick, slap for slap. That was a law to a person who's spiritually dead, the law of revenge. But a person who's spiritually alive, Jesus says you are to love your enemies. You understand? Those they couldn't. But we can, you understand? We can pray for our enemies, but they couldn't because they were given the laws of revenge. Kick for kick, slap for slap, you understand? So we need to understand things like that. Hence, guys, churches were opened and people looked at their flesh without considering the fact that after we were made spiritually alive, our flesh did not change. Our flesh still loves the things of the world, so they still try to pick those things from the old covenant and not realizing that we have to now discipline ourselves. Guys, there are things like that you have to realize, you have to understand. I've made this example that if you get a job today and you are appointed, they give you a contract, then after 6 months or a year you get promoted. You can't pick and choose and say, well, I'm picking from this contract, but I'm taking this clause from a new contract, because when you are promoted, you get a new contract, you understand, and you sign a new contract, which means that one is no longer in use. It's absolute, you understand. No one attends to it, so you can't take both contracts and say, I'm picking this one from the old, but I'm picking this from the new. This doesn't make sense. You either reject the new and stick to the old. It's just that nowadays, if you're going to be sticking with the old, Daddy is not even attending to it. It's Satan who now attends to it. Yet it's Daddy who wrote it with Jesus. You understand? But Satan is the one who attends to it. Like if you are slaughtering animals and you will quote from the old covenant, now we're using the blood of Jesus. So if you're slaughtering, Daddy will not attend to that. It is Satan who's going to be attending to that. So guys, I don't know if you understand those things. So I hardly quote from the old covenant because of that. But because I know the new covenant, so whenever I quote from the old, I make sure that I quote things that are still in line, because it's the person, guys, it's the same person who wrote the old that wrote the new. Because Jesus Christ has always been the word. Yes, Daddy was the one in the covenant with them, and since we know that Jesus has always been the word since in the beginning or from beginning, we don't know how they worked, but they work interchangeably. So if it doesn't tell us how they worked, even in the old, even though, guys, we know that it was Daddy who was in the covenant with them, we don't know, since Jesus is the one who has always been the word of our Father. So there are things we cannot understand, guys. We see in part, we hear in part, and we understand in part. That's just the way it is. Nevertheless, guys, here, if you're not angry with this, I'm telling you, guys, I give up on you. I give up on you. It says, how you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. Guys, here it speaks of Lucifer, Satan. At that time, guys, he was a good angel. He was spiritually alive, just that he was a wolf kind of an angel. Guys, just like there are wolf kind of people, there are wolf kind of angels. And how do you know them? Simple. Satan is the one who can give us a good example. The guy was created spiritually alive by Jesus, but the mere fact that he disobeyed Jesus tells us that this dude is actually a wolf kind of an angel. And those hypocrites who followed him in his hypocrisy, you understand? Because Angel Michael, Gabriel, and the others did not follow in their hypocrisy, you understand? So that was showing that the other angels were of sheep seed, while Satan and his cohort were of wolf seed, you understand? So Satan was actually Lucifer. Jesus did not create Satan. He created Lucifer, spiritually alive. But the seed, and nothing anyone can do about it. You understand? So he says, how you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth. You who once lay low the nations. Guys, this guy was able to go to heaven and accuse brethren, you understand, and accuse Job, and accuse this and accuse that, you understand. He could enter there and accuse, he was allowed. But there came a time that he said, enough is enough, you're not doing it anymore. So he was brought down, and said, you're not doing it anymore, because people are spiritually alive, they no longer have your seed. Guys, he had the right to go there and accuse brethren, because they were spiritually dead. Daddy was dealing with people who were spiritually dead, meaning Daddy was actually dealing with Satan's children, you understand. And Satan was like, I am coming there, I'm coming to accuse them. So after the blood was available, Jesus, after the cross, guys, Satan could no longer, so that time was short for him. So he just wants to make sure that everyone concentrate on money and earthly things, so that he can take as many with him as possible. Nevertheless, guys, here it says that you said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens, I will raise my throne above the stars of God, I will sit enthroned on the mount of assembly on the utmost height of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. Ah, guys, do you hear that? It means that Satan, guys, wanted the position of God. He wanted the position of Jesus. And guys, did he succeed? Well, it depends, It depends, how you look at it. Because if you look at what he did in the beginning, by luring Adam and Adam listening to him, thus dying spiritually, and all of us guys died spiritually, meaning we all had the seed, the nature of Satan. That, guys, speaks volume. That means for some time Satan, guys, did succeed. He did succeed. But guess what? He did not know that in Adam there were two kind of seeds. The sheep, even though they were spiritually dead, they would always obey their father. And when the message of the kingdom of heaven and when the blood was available, the sheep would go back to their father. You understand? So for Satan to gain the wolves, I mean, it's not a loss, guys. Is it a loss? It's not a loss, guys. He gained exactly what he was given. I mean, guys, if you're a wolf and you gain wolves, guys, for Satan to gain a wolf, it's like, oh, damn. Well, fine, at least I'm going to hell with you, but damn, you're a wolf like me. You know what I mean? But, guys, when he gets a sheep, guys, that's where the problem is. And he knows that when he gets a sheep, guys, it touches Jesus's heart, because now they are guys, because now he is touching Jesus, because, guys, Jesus loves his sheep. He says, I'm willing to die for them. God has given me the greatest. The Father has given me the greatest, the sheep, and no one can snatch them away from me. You understand? He knows that no one can snatch the sheep from him. Why? Because the sheep will always want to listen to Jesus. No matter how harsh or how hard his message is, they will want to listen to. You understand? But here, guys, Satan, the guy wanted to get that throne. He wanted to be a god. And for some time, guys, he did. For sometimes, guys, Satan managed to be a god, because everyone on earth was born spiritually dead, and Satan became a god of everyone. You understand? So he really did, and if you are not angry, guys, if you're seeking the things of the world and you're loving them after getting this truth, guys, I give up on you. You really are a wolf, guys. You can't fight a wolfism. Really, really, really. If you really call them blessings and you're running after them, guys, are we saying that Daddy doesn't want you to have things? No, he did not say that. Tell me, where is it written you should not have? No, he did not say that. But we're not supposed to love these things, because when you're doing so, guys, not only are you forfeiting your soul, but you're supporting what Satan did. You are his supporter. He says that friendship with the world is enmity with God. You understand? So when you're loving the things of the world and you call them blessings and you're running after riches and you're running after money, you are supporting what Satan did. Guys, a sheep cannot do that. A sheep cannot do that. A sheep would be so angry to hear that Satan actually succeeded at some point. But, guys, I had to bring this thing up so that you will know, because this one is in line with what Jesus is talking about in the parables, when he says that Satan, right there in the beginning, he stole, he gave birth, he planted the seed. I love that parable of the wheat. It's the wheat in the field, there, something like that, in the Gospel of Matthew 13. So here, Isaiah is actually confirming that Satan really planted his seed, and he wanted, verse 15 says, but you are brought down to the realm of the dead, to the depths of the pit. Those who stare at you, they point at your feet. Is this the man who shook the earth and made kingdoms tremble? Guys, I'm telling you, this guy made kingdoms tremble. Guys, let me stop here and I will continue next. Thank you.